Well, the ballot battle is leaving many Floridians with a 2020 vision. They're envisioning a better voting process. Could blockchain be the solution? Joining me right now, Rosa Shores, who's a co-founder of BlockSpaces, and next to her, Sasha Hodder, a crypto attorney. Thank you so much for being with us right now.
Yes,
okay, we've got it on the sign there. Let's try. I know this is hard. I've done at least three interviews with you.
Yeah.
Explain to me what blockchain voting would be.
Okay, well, first of all, blockchain. So let's start with that. So blockchain, just think of it as a big database that is, and of course we have databases and distributed ledgers. That's not even new technology. But blockchain implements a way to verify the transactions that are within this database in a very unique way.
Okay, is it legal, Miss Attorney?
Blockchain voting?
Yeah,
or just blockchain in
just
general?
well, blockchain in general. I mean, that's legal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And actually, some states have gone so far to codify that contracts done on the blockchain or businesses started on a blockchain are legal things of themselves.
Now, before we start thinking this is something that's way on outer space and is never going to happen, it's being used in West Virginia, admittedly on a trial basis. So as people try to understand this, then how would you actually vote? Would it be through an app? Would it be through email? I mean, what would it be?
Yeah, so the platform that's being used in West Virginia, and it's just 2 counties, and it's sort of like a test. They're just using it for military personnel that are overseas in 2 counties in West Virginia. It is on a mobile app. It's a platform called Votes that actually USF uses as well, just for like their student body voting. So there's kind of like a hometown connection.
So the bottom line is when people talk about blockchain, and I will admit that I don't fully understand it, they say it's probably one of the most secure forms of anything you could use because the information isn't just on one computer, it's on a whole bunch of computers. So I say to myself, wouldn't it be easy to hack if all of your information is all over the place?
Yeah, so the information that's stored on the blockchain is verified by all of those different, they call them nodes, all of those different nodes. And so all of those different participants in the network have to confirm each one of the transactions. So they all have to agree. There has to be consensus within the network that those transactions are valid. So that's what makes it more secure.
Ms. Attorney, again, as we're talking about this, is there anything in the Constitution that says we can't do this, or even in the state Constitution that says we couldn't try this new form of voting?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So there will be no legal challenges. But now let's tell me about why this is more secure. Because when people talk about it, because I guess the way this would work, you either get a ballot on your phone or some mobile app that would tell you to do these kind of things. You would hit a button, and this is the first thing going, I hit the button. Where does that information go? Does it go to the Secretary of State? Does it go to the elections officials? Does it go to the county? Where does it go?
Yeah, so I mean, it would go to, they would store, as I'm understanding it, on the blockchain. You would store your vote on the blockchain through a token, which is that is the consensus mechanism of a blockchain.
So and a token might be a form of identification, so that they knew that Ruechel had voted. Although nobody could know the way I voted, they would just know how I voted.
Or the token would actually be related to the whatever it is that you're voting on. So think of like each one of those little bubbles that you would normally check off or whatever.
Yeah.
Each one of those things would be assigned a token. So when you're voting on it, like each one of those tokens was assigned, whether it's a specific representative or whatever your answer is for your voting.
Yeah, Sasha.
The way I conceptualize it, and this is a little bit of a stretch, but if you think of each candidate as a company stock, and you're buying that stock, that's how the transaction would take place. If you replace token with a stock, it might be easier for some people to conceptualize. But you basically would go on your phone, buy that stock, like the way the bank has already verified that you're who you are when you go to buy your stock. The government would have verified you are who you are when you go in and buy your, or not buy, but place your vote.
Right, place your vote instead of buying. So this is a legal issue again, Sasha. When we have these recounts, which tend to drive people crazy anyway, they at least have a piece of paper that, they can go, this person voted this way because this piece of paper, right or wrong, says it. Well, now, if it goes into the computer, what do you have that you can put in your hand and physically look at?
You can't well, you could print off the Block Explorer and look at it on a paper that way, but basically it's a ledger. So it's a living ledger that keeps getting updated every time someone would buy their stock or place their vote. That gets recorded, and it's recorded, as Rosa mentioned, on several nodes that are running to verify that the information is correct. So you can print it off and see it if someone would rather have a paper, or you can use what's called a Block Explorer and look in real time and see how it's looking online.
So how are people reacting to this? I mean, obviously people are looking for something that's safe, but the ability to change our voting system, because each of the counties can count. So I mean, you're working with a project that's trying to figure out how to do this.
Well, Clear Voter is a project that I've been on for about 4 years, and it's more of a civic engagement platform. We would love to incorporate blockchain-based voting because it groups users into their voting districts around issues instead of political parties. So our participants on the platform would already be in their voting districts, so it sort of makes sense from a user interface perspective. But voting is a very unique thing. You need to be able to remain anonymous, but also you need to be able to track, and it needs to be transparent. So that's sort of what we're lacking right now, is this very quick and easy way to track your vote. Like when you put your ballot into the box, like let's say you mail it in or whatever, you have no way of knowing that it actually got where it was supposed to go. With blockchain, you would be able to know that it got where it was supposed to go.
Are we seeing more lawsuits in regards to blockchain? Because anytime you have a new technology like this, and I'm wondering if that would slow us down in adapting something like this, because they're going, well, there's so many legal issues that we haven't resolved.
Well, yeah, it has been a pretty active legal climate, because blockchain there's several different government entities that look at it. There's the IRS wanting taxes on it. There's the CFTC that are saying it's Bitcoin or ones that are generated by mining are commodities. And then there's been an ICO craze over the past year where people sell tokens that they consider them like stocks, but they have no actual backing. Like a stock is backed by the company's earnings, these tokens are not, and that's where the action has been this year, because a lot of people have done scams. Like they've sold things that were not. They've sold lies to people.
So if this worked, then it would be on some kind of app. Would there ever be recounts ever necessary?
Probably not. No.
You could see it as it comes in real time. So you'd be able to keep a tally. It would be done by a computer.
Has a blockchain ever been infiltrated by a hacker yet?
No.
Really?
Not a blockchain. No, when you hear about hacks that have to do with anything that has to do with cryptocurrency or blockchains, what they're hacking is the third party that is facilitating, whether it's an exchange or whatever the company is that's facilitating the blockchain app. They might hack that company, but they're not hacking like the actual blockchain. No.
Am I the only person that I listen to this stuff and I go, wow?
You're getting so much better though.
After 3 interviews, you would finally think that it works. Right? But in terms, so where do we go from here in terms of progressing? Because I'm sure that after this election, that whoever our governor is there going to be something that says, folks, we need to back off, because what we just went through in 2000, never thought we'd do it again in 2018, and here we are. So what happens next?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we have some great, I'm on an organization called the Florida Blockchain Business Association that is rallying around making sure that our lawmakers understand blockchain and keeping our state friendly to innovation in that regard. So hopefully we'll be able to maybe propose something to them. And this blockchain-based voting isn't something that you necessarily have to implement at a federal level.
No,
you can do it in counties, cities, or even U.S. staff.
And one last comment.
Well, you had mentioned that each new polling station was $28,000 for each individual one. Something like $100,000 investment by the government could probably build this out.
$100,000.
I don't know the exact price, but I think it would be a lot cheaper to invest in than.
You wouldn't have to worry about the high-speed machines or power surges or those kind of things. Well, it's crazy. Rosa and Sasha, thank you for your time. Very interesting. We'll see if this ever comes true. Maybe it will.
Thank you.
Thank you.